Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel Made with Love. Today I am making a pot roast in my slow cooker. So I got two pot roasts here, small ones. The sirloin tip oven roast. This is of course Alberta beef. This one was just a little over $19. And I got another one, and it's the inside round oven roast boneless Alberta beef, and this one was almost $15. They're very small amounts of meat, so I'm going to cook them both in my slow cooker. So I look like this. I just got back from church. I meant to try to do this morning. I ran out of time. So I've already got my veggies prepped last night. So I got my one whole entire stalk of celery all chopped up, pretty good size pieces. And then in my slow cooker in here, I've got my baby carrots, and all I did was I cut them in half, so they're smaller pieces. And I have my little tricolored baby potatoes that I cut mostly in half. A few of them I had to quarters because they were a bit bigger. So I'm just moving the potatoes and carrots, trying to give them a good stir and move out of the way. So to this, I'm going to also be adding 2 cups of a beef stock. I thought if I had prepped and cut everything last night, then I would have time this morning before church to just throw it all in the slow cooker. And I was up early this morning, with the puppy and puppy and my cats. So I was up just after I said her name. She thinks her name is Puppy now. Hi, Puppy. So she just looked at me. So I thought if I did all the prep work last night, this morning before church, I can just throw everything in the slow cooker, turn it on. It would be, slower, lower cook time. Will take longer. Supper will be still ready for supper tonight. Well, I was up at 7 this morning, doing what I had to do with the animals and everything, and then I went on Pinterest, which is a bad thing to do any day of the week, but especially a Sunday morning, and I got stuck in one of my favorite boards, which I've got, I think I have about 100 boards on one of my Pinterest things, or whatever they're called. So I have one, and it is just Star Trek memes. So I got stuck for an hour reading Star Trek memes, totally lost track of time. So at least I have it prepped. So I'm like, well, I could have tried and rushed this morning to do this, and I thought, no, if I do it after church, I mean, it's still for dinner tonight, so it's only just after 1. It's not even 1:30 yet. So I still have quite a few hours to make supper. So I'm just gonna grab a fork. I defrosted this meat in the fridge because I always buy my meat and I usually get it on sale, so I always put the meat in my freezer. So I just got a little bit of liquid stuff in these packages, and I just don't want to get beef dripping stuff all over my nice dress. So I am using the forks to lift these out. I know my camera angle is a bad angle. See if I can move it so you can see what I'm doing. Oops. Here. So I just got the meat, and I'm just lifting it up and putting it into the slow cooker. So I'm cooking these two. I know they're both beef, but they're 2 different cuts, but that's okay. I don't mind, but just it's not gonna work. I gotta get the meat down under the veggies a little more. So I'm just gonna lift this up. So I want the meat under the veggies more if I can. I may have to scrape some of this meat out. I'm just going to play around with figuring this out to get the meat more under the veggies. I like the meat kind of more touching the bottom of the pan. Okay. So you can sear, or whatever it's called, the meat. Some people say it tenderizes it. It kind of cooks in the flavor. I've never done that. I was looking up, one of the things I was looking up on Pinterest was how to do that, and it's not something I really do a lot of. I like the taste of the meat when it comes out of the slow cooker. And I'm doing a lot of veggies only because one of the other things I love to do with these cuts of meat is tonight it's a pot roast, and then whatever meat and veggies are left, I turn it in the next day into a soup or a stew. So I love to already have all the veggies already cooked in with the meat, so it's already got the good meat taste. So it's in here. So it was about 1 pound of the baby potatoes, 2 pounds of carrots, probably a little more than I need, but that's all I had in the fridge. And then 1 whole thing of celery, so you can see it's, and the 2 pieces of meat, so you can see the stalk. My crock pot is full to the top, and there's also 2 cups of the beef broth. I think beef is what I grabbed, yeah, the beef broth. So I just set this to high, so I would have done it this morning, put it on low and had it slow cooked, you know, it takes longer on the low setting. So I've got it on the high setting, and it probably still take about 4 or 5 hours. So I will be back after this has had a couple hours cook time. Okay, so now it is just after 6 o'clock. These have been, meat's been cooking since about 1:30-ish. I'm not quite sure the exact time. So it's been quite a few hours, so I'm just going to turn this off. I'm just trying to see if the meat was cooked, so I just plugged in my little meat thermometer here. So it's beeping at me. It's telling me that both the pieces of beef are well above 170 degrees Fahrenheit. I do like my meat thermometer, especially when I'm cooking certain cuts of meat in my slow cooker, because I won't be able to see the meat like I can when I cook it in the oven. It's always hard to tell if the meat is fully cooked until you actually cut it open, but I do like to use my meat thermometer. I'm just gonna get both these pieces of meat out of here now. My meat's smaller than my little fork things I'm using. There we go. So I'm just going to put the lid back on the veggies for now. And just going to move out of the way. So here is the 2 pieces of pork. I don't know what they were. I know one, I don't know, they're both beef. They had 2 different names. I don't remember what they are now. But they are done. This is still beeping. They do. Okay. Excuse me. So I'm just gonna set the meat aside for a minute. Now I've got in the slow cooker, I still have the potatoes, carrots, and celery. I got a string of the celery stuck in the back of my throat because I was just trying to test to make sure that the veggies were cooked. So when I checked them earlier, I checked it about 4:30 or so, about 4:30-ish, and the celery and potatoes were still quite hard. And then I got a really nice group of veggies here. It actually looks more like a stew or a soup already. Oops. Almost dropped my slow cooker off my counter. That would not have been good. So I'm going to just leave these in here, all in this liquid for now. So what I usually do is when I make a pot roast like this, I like to double or triple the amount of vegetables I cook. That way I can do one of 2 things. One is we get a nice, you know, like you cut your meat, you get your veggies, you get a nice amount of meat and veggies for your first supper. Then what I can do is whatever meat is left over, and usually there probably won't be any meat left over, but then I do have some other cuts of beef in the fridge, or not fridge, freezer, or pork. I don't know if I have any other beef. This might be my last 2 beef, but I do have some more cut meats in the freezer. So I can take the rest of this and turn it into a soup or a stew, which is what I want to do for the rest of this week, is to make a soup or stew. Like last couple weeks we've had just a lot of rain, and so the house has been a little bit cool, so it feels more like soup weather or stew weather, even though it's like June. We're not quite at July, but so there is what the veggies look like. They look good. They're done. So I didn't even add any spices to this. I might let my kids decide what they want for spices. You know, my son always makes his own spice blends for all the types of meat. So I don't know what he likes on his meat. He doesn't. There are certain spices I use that he doesn't really like anymore. Or, you know, like he likes his own combination of spices. So I will let my kids spice their own meats. So I guess supper is cooked for us. So I just wanted to say again, thank you so much to everybody who's subscribing to my channels, watching my videos, liking my videos, and sharing my videos. And I will see you all in my next videos. Bye.